In our recent paper, we describe how a repetitive genetic element called line reshaped the regulation of our genes by giving rise to new exons during evolution. Let us show you an example of a gene that contains many lines. Here, we zoom into the sequence of the X chromosome. We see a gene called NXF2 and the surrounding sequence. At the bottom, the extent of repetitive sequences is shown. Large parts of the gene are formed of lines, here in red. In fact, about 17% of our genome is made of lines. That means hundreds of thousands of lines are located in our genes. Most often, they are within the longest introns. What are introns? When genetic information is converted from DNA to mRNA to protein, most mRNAs are made through a process of splicing, where introns are removed and exons spliced together. Where a line is present in an intron, it sticks like a Velcro to specific RNA-binding proteins. These proteins form complexes with one another, and a line contains many short sequences that act as hooks to trap the protein complexes. Since lines have dozens of such short sequence motifs that bind to these proteins, we call these multivalent binding sites.
We studied in detail two proteins that we found most important, matrin-3 and PTP1. These proteins contain several domains that bind to RNA. They also contain intrinsically disordered regions, which connect the domains and the two proteins to each other. For example, a short linear peptide in matrin-3 binds to the alpha helical surface in the RN2 of PTP1. When we removed matrin-3 from cells, PTP1 didn't bind to lines sufficiently anymore, indicating that the two proteins need to bind together as a complex in order to stick to lines. Strikingly, when matrin and PTP are removed, we see new exons emerging from lines and becoming part of the mRNA. Thus, these proteins stick to intronic lines to repress or regulate the exons that can emerge from them.
By comparing mammalian genomes, we found that lines bind differently to proteins depending on how evolutionarily old they are. The oldest lines most frequently give rise to exons. This is because the sequence of lines accumulates mutations through evolutionary time, and these mutations decrease the multivalency of binding sites for matrin and PTP. This gradually releases the exons from their repression. The position and sequence of lines differs between species, and line-derived exons might lead to phenotypic differences between species. In humans, hundreds of line-derived exons are present in mRNAs, most often in tissues with high transcriptomic diversity, such as the brain.
I'm Attig, and I'd like to discuss some of the key aspects of our study on lines. The size of introns has increased in mammals largely due to immigration of self-amplifying elements, particularly lines. Our study shows that the intronic lines are not just passive bystanders of our genes. Lines help in the definition of intronic sequences through recruitment of repressive RNA-binding proteins. We find that the consensus line sequence contains multivalent binding sites for PTP and matrin, which means that a new insertion in the intron can be immediately repressed. We were surprised to find that also exons close to an intronic line can be repressed by matrin. This suggests that the repressive effects of line-binding proteins can spread to the surrounding sequence on the RNA. New line insertions have caused diseases such as retinal degeneration and cardiomyopathy, where a new line-derived exon perturbed an existing gene structure. But such instances are quite rare, we think, because of the number of repressive proteins that bind to newly inserted lines and introns, and minimize the chances that they have a detrimental impact on the genes.
Hi, I'm Jerne Ule, and I would like to tell you a little bit more about why we are excited about the way our study links to evolution. We were inspired by a study that was published in 1977 when François Jacob termed the phrase evolutionary tinkering, where he described evolution needs to accumulate mutation gradually while preserving the existing functions, especially in a complex organism like us. And we find that lines could work very well by accumulating mutations that create new functions and new splice sites, while at the same time they contain lots of repressive motifs that stop these splice sites from disrupting gene expression. And they are like a yin and yang. They have the positive and repressive forces. And the repressive motifs are bound by proteins that keep lines in a repressed state over long evolutionary periods, during which the lines can accumulate the mutations that also create new innovative splice sites and lead to formation of new alternative exons. To conclude, we now understand more thoroughly how new exons can be formed from line elements.